Alrighty, 1, 2, 3. Oops, that is the wrong screen. That's a great start to the podcast. What is up, guys? How's it going?
Hey, what's up, Wiser?
Not much. Glad to be here. 2B's, OneHive. Finally getting this episode 5 under the way. So, as you can see, I got... Oh, why is my screen doing that? Sorry, I just switched over to Windows 12. So things are a little different for me today. But anyways, I'm good now. As you can see at the top left, I got my man, John Parshall. In the middle, Mr. Dr. D, Robert Dvorak. And joining us in the top right, I got Mr. Snip from Snip Attacks. I'm sure many of you guys follow him. If you happen to watch my videos, then you're definitely watching the War Whales videos over there. So how's it going, Snip? Good to have you.
It's going well. Thanks for having me.
Absolutely. It's a pleasure, our pleasure, trust me. And it's kind of a good timing, even though we kind of had our struggles getting together. You know, we had you in for the first time and then you became deathly ill sort of at the last minute, so we didn't get you in for that first episode. You were going to be 2B's OneHive first episode. I hope you know that. But unfortunately,
I dropped the ball.
It's all good. No, you got sick, man. I get it. So then we actually kind of screwed up last week and had some issues, and we were supposed to get you in last week, and then we didn't even do an episode last week. So here we are, but it's perfect timing because not more than a couple hours ago, we just finished a matchup against each other. So the score, final score for those of you who don't know, 113 to 108. We'll get into the war discussion a little bit. I just want to get a few things out of the way. You know, obviously for any of us watching, please check us out at onehiveclan.com. All of the recruiting information is there. Any new people, anyone watching this the video after that's archived, or if you're on the live stream, please go ahead and check us out there. We're updating everything now. We do have full control, like I've mentioned before, of the website, which was not the case for a very long time. So we also got the audio podcast version set up to download directly from the website, or even you can download the YouTube video directly from the website as well. So definitely go ahead and check that out, guys. And if you're not following us on Twitter, you should be at onehiveclan.com, or sorry, at onehiveclan, not .com. Boy, did I screw that one up. I'm like 2 for 2 on the intro here for the for mishaps. Anyways, like I always want to start off with Dr. D giving us the Invicta report. They have a lot of action going on in the CWL Rising League. They just had a very clutch win against VM Valor Morgullis, I guess. I think we were having a debate on how to say that earlier, but
Morgills?
Morgills, is that what you Morgills?
I think so.
Anyways, Invicta pulled out a victory. It was looking kind of grim, but D, you can give us a better perspective on how that was.
Yeah, so we were down with, and they had 3 Town Hall 11 hits left. Who were 2 of those 3 were former 2.0 family members, is Jamie and QC, and fortunately some failed dips and a couple of Town Hall 10 triples. We had a fresh Town Hall 10 triple, which helped, and we eked out the win there. It's so it moves us to 2-2, and it was kind of looking like we might move into second place in our division with a 2-2 record, but I don't think that's going to happen. Aussie Addicts are about to beat Clash United. I just got a message from Brian in CU who said that they each have 1 attack left, but basically Aussie Addicts is going to win this one.
Wow.
Bangladesh beat Forbidden, so those 2 are going to stay on top at 3-1. We're 2-2, and then we've got Red at Ace right below us. So basically everything is within one win in our division anyway. So we're hanging in there, and then I feel like Invicta actually is getting better as we move along. We got off to a bit of a rough start, but things are looking pretty solid right now.
I haven't looked at the schedule, but from what I remember seeing to begin with, is the schedule gets a little bit more forgiving for Invicta as well over the second half of the season, versus like their first few matchups were against some of the top clans as well in their division. So I think it's promising that Invicta is probably going to make the playoffs this year, which is nice because when your second clan can have that kind of exposure and involvement, it just makes the guys coming up into 2.0 that much better. So
Yeah, no, absolutely.
Yeah, outside of that, Invicta is looking strong. We are. I don't know if there's a deadline very soon on transferring players. So I know we're. I think that's maybe Snip. Do you know? I think there's a transfer deadline soon.
Not till like at least more. I think it's like week 8 or something.
Is it?
I think.
Okay.
Yeah.
We were just
Okay.
talking earlier about making sure we have any movements we want to make kind of all set and in place before that time because CWL is pretty strict with that stuff. But anyways,
Yeah, we've been talking about the transfers a lot lately because they just voted on maybe stopping a Town Hall 9 transfer limit, but then they made it half of the 10-11. So we've been talking about that a lot.
yeah. And actually, another point I was going to touch on, but since we're sort of talking about it, they've also they did some strange things that maybe you have better perspective on. They added the amount of Town Hall 10s you can have on your roster, and as well, they made a tier system for the transfers, right?
I don't know about the tier system, but yeah, they upped it to 22, did they?
Yeah,
I think
22
Town
Town
Hall
Hall
10s.
10s, and I swear I was looking at something where. I wish I had I thought of this before, but I swear I was looking at something where you can only transfer a certain amount of players based on what tier you were, or something like that. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I just saw something that wasn't real. But
I
clearly,
know rosters are always they're always a tricky issue, especially now that you have to match tiers, and it's
Bill,
always tricky.
Bell, if you're in chat right now, can you confirm my craziness for me, please? I know absolutely there was some weird thing like that, but as well I didn't really fully understand the way they decided to do the Town Hall 10 weight system. I don't know if you had any more insight on what the sort of logistics were. To me, it just looked like extra work to figure out your weight.
Yeah, they were just trying to fix the people having like level 1 bomb towers at a max base and being like an 86 or what. I don't know what the exact was, but it was basically bomb towers and mortars. You could just really take advantage of Supercell's
Was
weighting
it?
system. And so they just made a more logical based on difficulty rather than, your mortars being 1 level down doesn't really give you a disadvantage, but
No.
it would drop your weight like 2k. So it was
Yeah.
something about that.
Okay, so it was basically one or two specific defenses that just made it unfair.
Supercell just ignored those defenses in their weight making.
Yeah. Okay, so moving on here. There was some big news this week, obviously, and it didn't directly, well, sort of directly involve 2.0. We just lost a War Whale, so technically that should leave us at 1-3, but we're actually only 1-2 because Beast Mode had some exposure to some cheating this over the past couple weeks and was banned from the Invite League. So that was huge news, especially for us because the CWL gave us a chance to match up and sort of do a new match against the Lost, who will be taking their place. So that was exciting for us. Obviously, we lost to Beast Mode by 1 star. So it's hard to say, like, we didn't feel at the time like any one person was cheating, but even if you think in the same token, if one person on one attack in a 1-star war did that, that still could be the difference. So I don't know. We were just thankful we're getting another shot at this, but I don't know what your guys' thoughts are on Beast Mode.
I mean, I agree completely about one attack, 1 Town Hall 10 triple in a 1-star war. That's all it takes. I mean, I agree completely. If one person is cheating, that's 1 or 2-star difference right there. So I assumed once they announced it, we would get to win, but yeah, I mean, we get another shot at a different clan, so that's cool too.
Like, I understand the admin's decision. I was thinking about it a lot, obviously, and there's a few things. First of all, by the time this came out, the replays were long gone. So the amount of actual investigating the admins could do into the war and the results was extremely minimal to none. So there's that, and then on top of it, the Lost has to play someone. Like they can't, they're gonna have to somehow make up those matches with other clans. So it just kind of makes sense. I get it. I think it's as fair as they could have been. Who did that? Was it Guantanamo Bay? The war that Beast Mode got banned for?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, it was.
What were your guys' thoughts on that situation from the War Whales camp, Snip?
On beast mode,
Yeah.
I hadn't heard too much besides the fact that they didn't get banned. It was just going to be the one player, but then I guess when they looked into it more, they found out leadership news. So yeah, if it's one player, obviously I don't think it should be the clan, because like I made a whole video talking about the worst part about modding is that Supercell leaves the clans really no way to self-monitor.
No.
Besides saying, hey, that attack was too good, and then just kick everyone that's good. So
yeah, exactly.
So if it's one player, I don't think there should ever be a ban for the clan. But yeah, if the leadership was colluding, then yeah, that's what you get. So.
And that's the word, colluding, right? Like because the way modding is, it's very difficult as just one person secretly to do it on your own without getting caught, I find, because you have to be, I don't know. Again, I don't know a lot about it though, so that's probably part of the issue that I have understanding it. But for one person, he's going to have to be going to another clan at least to make the attacks, right? Or have some sort of burner in the clan that he's in, which obviously isn't going to fly. Not to mention, when you're in CWL matchups, people can't leave the clans, right? At least until their attacks are done. So
yeah, I don't think that's the case anymore. I think if you have an alternate Town Hall 10 in another clan with a burner, then you can just build the bases and do it. That's my understanding.
So essentially, though, and that's what I thought, but you would still have to. You can only practice on the base, like that. It's not like you could one touch that attack over to the, like, you know what I'm saying? Like you would still have to manually make the attack. You just get
right, but you can
practice attempts on it.
I mean, for anyone who's done, I mean, I just in my attacks this war, I got a 98% on the 10v10 try, and I mean, you'd say just practice, but if I could have practiced that a couple more times only, I would have been able to easily, like doing it the first time versus practicing a queen walk even like 5 times makes you so much more comfortable. I mean, you know it from doing friendly challenges. Once you hit a base like the 4th time, you're just like going through the queen walk part, like drop, drop, drop. You're not even thinking about it anymore. Whereas if you're that first time, like it's so much more nerve-wracking.
Absolutely, absolutely.
Yeah.
And there's little things that there's just at times are almost impossible to look and plan for, right? Like there's some buildings that will suck troops in a certain direction that like it's almost near impossible sometimes to tell that that's going to be the effect on the AI of the troops. However, as soon as you see that happen, you know the very simple adjustment that needs to be made to do what you want it to do. So, man,
right? Like if you get to practice, you'll never have a queen go the wrong way. It'll just never happen.
And I think actually now might be a good time. I'm going to flip over real quick. I don't know if everyone knows about this site. I didn't know about this site until recently. Where are we going? Right here. The warmatch.us or whatever has all the stats. This is actually a really cool site. But the most interesting thing is all the stats over here on the right side. And what I see right off the bat is out of 270 Town Hall 10 versus 10 attempts, the overall hit rate is 16%. Like that is just soul crushing at times.
It would be about 17 or 18 if I hadn't participated so far.
Oh snap! Oh, but what I also find astonishing, maybe not astonishing, but I find interesting outside of that is 11 versus 11 hit rate is 35%, which I mean there's only been 17 11 versus 11 attempts, it looks like. So compared to 270, obviously that's a much smaller pool. But you think, clans like you guys, another thing we'll talk about a little more, Snip, is how you guys send out your scouts and what bases you choose to do 11 versus 11 triples, because we're still in the process of making sure we're always clearing the 10s or trying to clear the 10s and struggling there, but we don't get a lot of 11 versus 11 attempts. And as you
Well,
can see,
you guys saw what we did to you guys.
yep.
We and again, looking at those hit rates, a big part of it is the base design, because you have 10v10 is all set up completely strictly anti-3, and 11v11 sets up most times. I mean, we had Clantenamo Bay run strictly anti-3 on us, but they all run anti-2, which is much easier to triple for your own Town Hall.
Yeah,
I mean, if
absolutely.
if Town Hall 10s were running ring bases to try and avoid 9s two-starring them, it'd be much easier for 10s to come in and triple them. So that's a big factor there, is all the 11v11 triples I've seen. Like, I've seen Dark Looters do some, and we've done a bunch. They've all been on anti-2 bases. So.
Oh, yeah. So that's sort of your selection from the beginning. But then most of our 11s are all of our 11s are running anti-2. So it kind of gives you the pick of the litter. And then when your 9s do as well as yours did, and that's sort of that was sort of the domino effect for us that began, was your 9s were great and came through and pretty much scouted everything up top for you guys, including those 11s, right? So you like that scout on that number 1 of the 11 versus 11 triple.
Yep, 2 hits. And then triple.
Yeah, was started off by a Town Hall 9, right? So that's extremely beneficial.
Yeah, and this was a pretty disappointing 9 performance for what we're used to this war, because we had several 10s hit fresh, we had several 11s dipping fresh, which has led to, I mean, I talked to JP about this. We had pretty dip fails, I think, more than usual on both sides this war.
I just did a very small recap. And one of the things I mentioned while I was talking about it is the fact that we held you guys to 113 stars, I think, is a small victory for us. Obviously, I wish we could have put up a better star count ourselves, but I've seen you guys run up 115 no problem before. So I don't know. I think that's a small victory for us, and definitely a learning lesson. So
it's definitely our lowest of CWL so far, and keep in mind we faced DL. So yeah.
Okay, so another thing we just managed Dragon's Rejects, so that's awesome. Loving those midweeks. I know we got a lot of friends in Dragon's Rejects. I'm pretty sure. I know JP does.
Oh yeah,
were they
people.
Part of PC one time? Was that?
Yeah, we were sister clan to PC back in the day, and
that's right.
I'd say probably 70% of that clan is still there. So I've got some good buddies in that clan.
Sweet. So that's pretty awesome.
Well, so I just looked just out of curiosity, and we this is the first week we didn't put up 115. It was 115 against DL, 115 against Bada Bing, 115 against CB, and then 113 against you guys. So.
Cool.
My base got scouted and bullied. I kind of take that as a victory, because that meant it wasn't selected as, hey, I think a 10 can get this one.
10v10.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was pretty funny, right? We got we were 4 of 8 on dips, and we had 5 10v10 triples, so the 10s actually tripled. The 10s tripled more than the 11s did this war, which is pretty funny.
It was pretty crazy, yeah. Yeah, you guys did.
Yeah, your
very well.
10s, we talked about this also, your 10s were the MVP of the war. Like, if we had told you going into it that you'd have had 4 dip fails, you may have had a little worries there, but your 10s were pretty solid for you.
That was
the difference, in my opinion.
Yeah, the 10v11 still struggled a little bit, but yeah, the 10v10 was on point for sure.
Yeah, that's sort of where our game kind of failed. That 10v11 was that we left open. We just got stumped. We started off great, and then just got stumped on the 1. I think we had soaked up like 6 hits or something, and we didn't even clear it. So
exactly.
Yeah, just not a good performance by us. So and usually actually we have our dips are some of the best stat wise in the CWL, and they even struggled a little bit this war.
Oh yeah, geez. So, yeah, Jake got 3 defenses and 6 overall.
Yeah, brutal. So just real quick, if we look at the standings, obviously, so you guys moved to 4-0. Spartan's Legacy did lose to Immoral Thieves, so they are going to drop to 3-1.
Is that a joke?
Nope.
So Immoral Thieves then just had like a really off war last week. I was surprised to see they lost last week.
Well,
I
they
thought
put up
they
113, and I think almost any clan is good enough to, like, when they're on their good day, put up 112, 113. I mean, 114, 115, now you're talking you guys, but...
It also depends on the breakdown.
Yeah, that is true as well. Spartan's Legacy only put up 109, so
Wow.
Tough for them. And who else we got? The Swarm. How did they do this week? They beat Tactical Inc. 111 to 109. We actually just had a friendly war with Tactical Inc. Just on the fly, real quick. It was kind of fun right before our matchup with you guys. Emphatic Elite loses to 1.0. Emphatic Elite only putting up 104 stars, so that's sort of unusual for them. And that score was 109 to 104. That could have been anyone's war, it looks like. Moving down, Dark Looters Z. They beat War and Glory 112-111, so they're going to move to 4-0. And the other Dark Looters beat the Lost 115 to 111. So there's the Lost getting unfortunately their first loss.
Welcome to the league. Here you go. Face Dark Looters.
That's brutal.
I know, right? So Dark Looters will prove to 3-1, and then we had PWC losing to Kansha 112 to 110. So they're going to drop to 2-2. Moral Thieves, like I just mentioned, is going to improve now to 3-1. Reddit Omega. Where are we at? Lost.
They just beat North Watchers.
Hold on. North Watchers beat Reddit Omega, it says. 107-106.
Nah, North Watchers lost on a dip fail at the buzzer.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
Yeah,
mine says refresh your page. Actually, it says L.
Oh, maybe. Yeah.
That's your third mistake. No
Well,
more.
then, hey, that's not my mistake. That's the admin's mistake or whoever runs this page. Guantanamo Bay, how did they do this week? Because they got awarded. So that was the other difference in our situation. Guantanamo Bay was awarded the win, but there was more evidence to go on, obviously, with their war. But they lost to Faked Wargasm, 110 to 109 this week. So they're going to drop to 2-2. Fake Wargasm, like I said, is going to improve to 3-1. Bada Bing Clan loses to Buy Forever 110 to 109, so they're going to drop to 2-2. OneHive I mentioned 1.0, going to improve to 3-1. Suomi Kokat, who did they match this week? They matched Power COC. Oh, they did a 50 versus 50, it looks like, as the score was 140 to 137. Power COC coming away with the victory. That's kind of, I don't think I would ever do that. That's just crazy.
They're a lot of fun. We did all 50v50s actually in the off season.
Oh, really?
And they're just so much fun. Yeah.
So Omakokat will go through, drop to 2-2. Six Schlitzes. They ward Marina Trench, and we were talking about that earlier. Marina Trench putting up a nice 115 to take care of 6S. So they're going to drop to 2-2. War and Glory mentions also going to drop to 2-2. The Lost. Oh, see, it says the Lost is 1-2. That can't be correct though. Kancha, I mentioned, did win. So, yeah, moving on down. I think I pretty much got everyone. No, there's WHF in there. I don't remember talking about them.
They're still going.
It's still going.
Yeah.
Oh, there you go. I wonder what the score is over there. Maybe someone can post that in chat for us.
It's 99-106 against Reddit Alchemy.
Sounds like a lot of hits left.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, I would hope so.
So there's still Marina Trench, Annihilate, and Midwinter. So Annihilate won against Midwinter's 111-108.
Yeah.
And, yeah, North Remembers lost, according to not this. Oh, no, that was North Watchers. North Remembers lost, to Killer Bunnies.
Killer
114
Bunnies.
to 108. Right, so that pretty much covers it. So you guys want to take this just a super short break? I gotta grab a drink no matter what. My throat's getting a little dry. Jump back on over here. Unless you guys had anything you wanted to add before we take a short break. I'm also gonna actually move a lamp because I need better lighting on this side of my desk. So
yeah.
Awesome.
Make sure you go on mute.
All right, so go get yourselves a drink. I'm actually just going to pop on a little bit of music, nothing crazy. Enjoy the pogo in the background. And we will be right back with more Snip Attacks. Alright, we are back. Second half action. Sorry about that, guys. But I got, oh, see, it switches back. See, I don't like that. I don't like the Alt-Tab function on Windows 12. But yeah, we are back. Sorry, was a little parched. These shots of Fireball whiskey are getting me, so I had to grab a wild cherry Pepsi action. That's the best I got. So talked about a lot of stuff in the first half. I mean, obviously, CWL is pretty much everything going on in the world of Clash of Clans, but sometimes it's nice to just get to know the people behind the chief, I guess, for maybe lack of better terms. But I know JP has a lot of questions in store for you, Snip, so I'm just going to let JP kind of have at it for a good chunk of the second half. I got a few other things just about your clan system and stuff that I think would be interesting to talk about. But I'm going to let JP kind of take the floor here and have at it.
So you had it easy so far. You ready?
Yeah, are we? I just seen some comments about some volume. Are we?
Interesting.
Tyvo just doesn't know how to work YouTube, I guess.
Tyvo, turn up your volume.
Volume. Should I be able
Yeah,
to
they can hear. They can hear you because Captain Sparrow's asking if your roommate's hot. So yeah.
Oh,
the clan. So yeah, we're going strong here. So
okay.
First of all, like they said, appreciate you coming on with us. How did you get into Clash, and have you always, growing up, did you play a lot of games, and are you currently playing other games, or is it just Clash?
Excuse me. Well, currently it is only Clash. I mean, Clash obviously kind of took over, along with just growing up and, your time being more limited than when you're a kid, and you have all the time in the world besides school. So, but yeah, growing up, definitely played games. I played, I'm a little bit older than probably a lot of people on here, so there weren't mobile games when I was a kid, so it was all consoles. But yeah, I played everything. I mean, I played sports games. I played Final Fantasy. I played. I dabbled in a little bit of Warcraft, but not World of Warcraft, like back in the day when they had Tower Wars.
Warcraft 3, buddy.
Yeah, the Frozen Age. So what else did I play? It's hard to remember. What's the game? Kingdom Hearts. I was a big fan of Kingdom Hearts. But yeah, like a lot of games like...
How old are you, Snip? You can't get away without saying that now.
We have to drop the age on here?
What are you, a woman?
We weren't going to ask, but you brought it up, so...
I brought up the age. I am late 20s.
Late 20s?
There you go.
Bad. There you go. There you go. Well,
so
I'm
are the
35,
youngest person on this
35,
podcast.
so don't feel bad. But I know exactly what you're saying. Like, about no mobile games. To me, I was at first, I'm like, come on, like you play a game on your tablet, and my buddy finally got me to download Clash of Clans. That was the first tablet game I ever was like, okay, fine. And that was right when Clan Wars first came out, and that was it for me after that. I'm like, wow, this is actually for real.
Are you about to be bothered by your roommate?
See you.
His coffee has arrived.
She put the coffee on the ground. She didn't even come in.
Come in, say hi.
Awesome.
I told her they want to see you, Ayaka. Where's Ayaka?
Oh no.
That's
Should
awesome.
at least tip her, Snap. Jesus.
I know you just saw the door casually open.
Yeah, that was kind of nice there. As far as your YouTube channel,
Here we have coffee delivery.
In the
Nice.
cup.
Shout out to
Perfect.
the roommate.
What a nice roommate. I know you talked a little bit about this on your interview with Ash. I know he turned the tables and asked you a question or two, but talk about how you started your channel and what you kind of had it in mind, and what are your plans for the channel? Where do you see it going?
Well, obviously we're going to 1 million and quickly.
There you go.
But no, I didn't have a lot of expectations, to be honest. When I started, it kind of came from a combination, obviously, of enjoying Clash and playing it and watching YouTube. And it came from, the inspiration, I think, was kind of from a book I read by Scott Adams. He wrote Dilbert, for anyone that doesn't know.
Wow.
And he wrote a book where he talked about processes instead of goals, and kind of just doing stuff that could lead to somewhere without necessarily like such a, like I want to have 1 million subs on YouTube. So I kind of just did it to do it, and I figured it wouldn't hurt. It'd be a cool hobby. I was already in production anyways, so I liked Jake's channel and Swideman's channel were the two that kind of inspired me. When I was learning to be better at the game, so I wanted to do commentary because a lot of people at the time, I think back then, less now, were doing just like crazy music in the background.
Yeah.
Yeah.
As opposed to commentary, and so I always kind of liked the commentary more, so I figured that's what I would do. But yeah, no real goals, just wanted to do it. Started doing it for my clan, and it just steadily grew.
It's funny you mentioned that. Oh, sorry, JP, about the commentary. when I first started as well, I remember before I actually posted videos on Labs, I used to just do recaps just for my own personal benefit. I would show my friends and people from my whole clan, and I would always put music in. But then when you start doing them, and my first, I remember the first couple that I showed people, they're like, no, definitely do commentary. People find that more interesting, and they do, right? They like hearing the perspective that you can give on whatever whatever you can say that they feel you're speaking from the mind of the person doing the attack, right? So.
Well, I mean, ESPN doesn't just play house music over football replays.
Exactly.
It's always commentary, and also from the learning aspect. I mean, I learned so much from like Jake and Swadman's channels, watching them. That's kind of what got me into from being just whatever, just going through Clash, doing whatever, and then so I wanted to kind of help also to pass along what I learned. So you don't get that with music either if it's just showing the attacks.
Yeah, absolutely. So I watched I guess it was your interview with Jake a couple days ago, and you had some good analogies that I hadn't really thought about, where you compared this to sport. You compared CWL to sports as far as one game, like football, for example, one game during the weekend, practice during the week. So are you a big sports fan? And if so, who do you follow?
I am. A lot of people will probably. Oh, look, we got Clash with Ashes in the house. Hey, what's up, Ash?
Hey, what's up?
A lot of so probably a lot of people will be disappointed with my answer, but I'm actually I play and follow tennis, so individual sport, not so much a team sport.
Tennis, wow.
I play tennis, yeah. So for all like the football or whatever, people will probably be disappointed with that answer, but yeah, I play and I follow tennis. I've always played. I mean, growing up in high school, I played soccer, I played volleyball, I did. I skateboarded, I did snowboarding, so I've always been like, jack of all trades more than one. But since I got into to college, and found tennis, tennis is kind of what I've been playing the most recently.
You can't snowboard in California.
Bear Mountain, 2-hour drive.
Impressive.
Good snow.
Impressive.
Before we get too deep into some of the Clash stuff, so we talked a little about this, but what do you do for a living, man?
I am in production and event managing.
Okay.
So I don't know event-wise if they don't have them at too many places, but out here in Vegas they have a lot of them, big trade shows and events like that. My friend and I, we used to do them while we were going to school. And then we got into management and kind of co-founded our own company. So we staff big events like that with models.
Nice.
They're called like trade show models.
Good stuff. How do you manage obviously being in War Whales with 2 accounts, obviously that's a time commitment. Being a content creator is a time commitment. How do you manage your out of Clash life, your work life? How do you manage that? Do you have a set schedule where you allow yourself so many hours, or how do you do it?
Short answer would have to be very poorly.
I know that feeling.
Yeah, it's especially. I just told you guys. I think I got in here like 5 minutes before we were supposed to start this thing. It feels like you're always running behind here in California, especially with traffic. Getting from anything to anything and on a tight schedule is always difficult. So. It's difficult for sure. I don't war with my 10, only CWL. So during the week, and if you guys heard this, I just talked with Jake about this, and I think that's actually something that clans should implement in terms of burnout. Because I remember back in the days when like the red line era, we called it, for OneHive, when we went through getting hunted and lost like 7 wars in a row. Yeah. And it was just like we were getting back-to-back random spins like one after another with like Reddit Omega, North Remembers. It was just like no breaks, and people were just seriously burnt out after it. So I really think the like how we talked about focusing on CWL and not doing so many random spins really helps to not have people burn out and just kind of, lose their interest for the game because it messes with their real life.
I talk about this quite frequently. Do you remember the good old days when your arranged war was on the weekend, and that was all like the main focus that you needed for the week, and everything like at some point they did a lot to the algorithms of the war search, because now there's no way it's a rarity now for us to get a farm war.
Yeah.
Where so it's like every single, because even when you're not, like you said, like unless you're just not warring with your 10, you're gonna get sucked into some of these like good strong like random elite wars, we call them, and it's just like you get an arranged war every day, where back in the day it was like you could gear up for the weekend, everyone kind of made plans to get on the stream or get on DC and shit, and because it was one day a week. But now it's like just constant back to back sometimes, and if you're not on a winning streak, it can take its toll. It has the exact situation you described has definitely happened to us as well.
Yeah, and it was, and again, we talked about it back in the day. You didn't have, we had arranged wars, but it wasn't the same. The hype, there was nowhere near the hype in terms of like, you knew. I remember also like, clan leaders would kind of keep it a secret because you didn't want to get hunted.
Yeah,
so there wasn't at all the same like, oh, your whole schedule already now. Whereas back then it was like you didn't even know the range matchup until it was spinning, and then maybe you missed. So the difference now that there is that hype and there is that very structured format, I really don't think you need a war every single day or every other day to keep people interested. And so I really am on board with the chilling out during the week.
Absolutely.
thing.
One thing we've talked about is just not spinning at all, and you have the tools now between friendly challenges and clan challenges to organize things within your clan and just focus on development in certain areas, and as opposed to just trying to spin and even getting a farm war, or even just getting some random elite like kind of midweek when people just don't have the time that they should be putting in to kind of getting the war
and
done,
stress,
right?
and adding the stress on them of feeling like they have to. Because
Yeah.
even if you go up against an elite clan and they're running good anti-3s and you're a Town Hall 10, you can't just YOLO and 3s. Like, you have to plan if you want to. So it's not like you can just say, like, here, I'll just do 10 minutes real quick. It doesn't work like that. So, and like you said, we didn't used to have the friendly challenges and that stuff. So in terms of, like, not getting rusty, that doesn't exist anymore.
And coming from, like, a leadership standpoint, how can you really hold it against the guys if they do have to rush an attack, or you know what I mean, in a midweek random matchup with another good clan? It's like you get it. Everyone has lives, and we are.
Oh, we don't keep statistics on anything other than
CWL,
like CWL quality matches. We don't keep statistics, because we keep statistics on all the players just to kind of see where everyone's at, to try and come up with our war plans and whatnot, and sub people in and out. But we don't do statistics if it's not a CWL quality match. So
yeah, we did the same back when we were online. We had an Excel sheet and just tracked every war that was either a random elite or an arranged or CWL, whatever. But now that we're on DC, we can set it. We have bots that actually will track everyone's stats for us. It's kind of cool. So yeah, and again, you can only use the stats with a grain of salt, right? Because there's always a lot of factors in why things are happening. I mean, yeah, you can see trends, but it's definitely never the be-all, end-all. It's not like if someone has a bad record, we don't even talk to the person and just, okay, well, we're swapping you out, right? Like, there's always a story behind it.
Yeah, you got to see the base, you got to watch the attack. There's so much goes into it.
Mm-hmm.
Sure. Yeah, so probably my favorite video I've seen on your channel is the FC challenge. When you have you're challenging someone, you've got someone posting the base, and
The duels.
both attack it. I'll call you out here. Yeah, the duels. I'll call you out when you're ready. I'll challenge you. We'll go to the clan. Me versus you. We'll make it happen, okay?
Which, on Town Hall 9?
Either one. I got 9 or 10 or 11.
Okay.
Say,
I have
you give me the
got
place.
them all.
We'll do it.
Yeah, no,
So
it's
competitive.
I'll that's definitely my favorite series to do, hands down.
I mean, I just found myself just laughing with you guys. It just looks like a lot of fun, and you're sitting there just, giving each other a hard time back and forth. It looked like a blast.
Oh yeah, that's definitely the funnest one to record by far. Because again,
So,
yeah, usually it's I mean, you guys see here, usually it's just me, the microphone, my iPad,
yeah.
just doing the commentary. But that one, it's like you talking with people, joking around. It's live, you're attacking. So much fun.
Yeah, we'll make that happen. So, what's your thoughts? I don't know if you've actually gone, but have you been able to attend any of the live events, whether it's Chicago Live, Denver Live? Have you been able to attend any of those?
Unfortunately, no, because I hear from everyone, right? That's what Jake said. The live events were his favorite thing. So, unfortunately,
You
no.
plan
I'm
on
waiting.
going in the future?
I'm waiting for the West Coast Live. Where's the West Coast Live at?
Start
I'm
it.
surprised, to be honest. Like, you think with the way the population is distributed, it would be one of the first places.
Mm-hmm.
So we all know there's an update coming at some point in the future. We don't really know when. What do you have a predictions for what you expect, and also is there 2 to 3 things that you really really want to see for this update?
That's a tough one, probably. I don't know. I mean, Jake and I just talked about this. I asked him the same question, and it is hard to guess what their updates are going to be. They always seem to be kind of random. They have been better, I'll say for sure, lately about giving some things that take off the hat, Snip, that we have been asking for as a war community. But I would say mine would probably be, or ours in general, are a little bit selfish, quote unquote, because it is a big gaming community. Like, it's, millions of people, and we're the war community. We kind of, I feel like, are a little bit demanding sometimes of what we want updates to be for us
True.
that maybe don't benefit everyone. But the current meta, I guess, is what I would talk on, and the current meta isn't most ideal, I think, just because I don't know. I'm sure everyone is on board with seeing bitch dips over and over again is not the most fun thing to watch. And
No.
I especially cringe every time I see a bitch dip fail. It's just very painful to watch that. So
Don't watch replays of our war.
to watch, I gotta, yeah. As the recapper, I always have to go through and watch all the attacks. So I'm always extra aware of what everything that's going on each town hall level. And like Town Hall 9, it's so I still play it because as easy as it is, quote unquote. I mean, people are still failing. Obviously, that's always my response when people say Town Hall 9's dead. It's so easy. I go look at CWL Town Hall 9 hit rates. They're nowhere near 100%.
No.
So,
Yeah.
but just the variety. Like, I mean, if you guys, this war
Absolutely.
I did a Queen Walk, a Queen Ho attack, and then I did a semi-mass minion. So like, you can have fun. You can plan cool attacks out and look at bases for weaknesses, as opposed to Town Hall 10 when I get on and look at bases. Pretty much, it's like, okay, how many loons am I going to bring? And like, that's the only question at Town Hall 10 pretty much, is like, okay, how can I lalo this base?
Yeah.
So I would love to see some variety. I think you have so many troops, and most of them are neglected. So
The
like,
only
what's the point of having
way
all the troops?
I feel they can do that is to push Town Hall 9 even a little further down towards what Town Hall 8 has become, right? I mean, there's too much of a gap. I mean, you look at it, like 10 versus 10, 16% triple rate in all of the CWL.
Mm-hmm.
That to me is an overall disheartening number because of all the quality attackers that are making those attacks and having that little success. That number needs to improve a little bit. You touched on
Well, and I think you would get that if you give hogs some improvement. If you see no one's using hogs, or you see the best people trying to use hogs, and their hit rate is 5%, obviously that's not balanced. So I feel like if you're seeing these attacks, and it's, from Supercell standpoint, if they really wanted to test it, they could. They have access to the players who are really good. They could say, come test these troops out, see the different comps, and then, make a little bit of tweaks, and you find that happy balance of where it's not tripling every time, but where there's a possibility and it's not 1 in 50 that you triple. So
Yeah.
So the last thing I was going to ask you, and then I'll let the other guys see if they have any questions. I know you and Jake talked a little bit about this, but how much do you enjoy the the events, whether it's the 5 versus 5 or the 10 versus 10 with the adjusted rules, no dips. How much do you enjoy that, and what do you think that's the future of that is for Clash?
I enjoyed a lot, definitely, and I know he said the same thing. And it's definitely because it's something different. I mean, I always the way that I actually opened up a dialogue with Clash was with the Clash of Clans people on Twitter was because of the Mass Minion event I had. So Clash 2 and I put on an event where it was 50v50, all Town Hall 9, and everyone had to use minimum 40 minions per attack. And so, and it was just so much fun. I mean, when people were streaming, everyone was just super hyped, and you got to, so like for me, and I'm with talking with Clash Bash, like I'm in their press stuff and talking with them about the events, so I'll try and get some influence on maybe even having some tournaments that aren't just no dip, but even like a specific comp, because I think it just adds takes the pressure off, because you have to do a mass minion. It's not so much like got to pick your army and win. It's more, it adds a fun lighthearted aspect to it. So I think the events are amazing, and like what we talked about, I think it goes well hand in hand with not burning out. If you have, CWL on the weekends and then clans are practicing during the week, that opens up a lot more possibility of people doing these events and having it not interfere with clan wars if clans aren't worried about spinning during the week. So I think they go right hand in hand.
I agree. It's a lot of fun. I've been in a couple of them. We got absolutely wrecked every time, but it's still a blast because a lot of it's the camaraderie too. You're in there with friends. This isn't as hardcore as a CWL match, so you can have fun. You're making fun of each other. You're laughing. A lot of banter back and forth. So I'm with you. It's a lot of fun on those.
Yeah, and it's completely, and like we talked about, it's a different skill set. I mean, you have 2 hours in the whole war. It's not like sitting there on. You have to. It changes it up from what people are used to having to kind of react more on the fly and come up with a quick plan and react on the fly. You don't get a scout, and it's just a completely different. So. Absolutely, I think it's great.
Yeah. Dean Weiser, you guys have a couple questions you want to throw out?
Yeah, I've got a question. So looking at your guys' schedule coming up, of course, when you're an undefeated clan, everybody's wondering when are you going to get knocked off. So who's got the best shot? What do you think? You got Buy Forever, Power COC, Killer Bunnies, Immoral Thieves, Elite Gaming, SL, North Remembers.
So the most obviously one is Spartan's Legacy. I mean, Jake just said that his 3 picks would be Dark Looters, us, or SL. SL is always a great clan. And I thought it was funny. I saw the Killer Bunnies in here because that's actually who knocked off. You talked about the events. We did the Dark Whales thing in all the Clash Bash 10v10, and we got wrecked. We got wrecked every time. We thought we were going to do so well. We did Dark Looters, Town Hall 11s, and then a mix of War Whales, Town Hall 9s and 10s, 9s and 10s, and we never won a tournament. So it is interesting. You think like, oh, we got War Whales and Dark Looters, we should win, but nope, we didn't even make it to the finals in any of them. So, but yeah, Killer Bunnies is actually who beat us in the Clash Bash. Was the small team from Killer Bunnies. So
and
I don't know.
Oh, go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, they rocked North. Remembers you say?
Yeah, this weekend. So they beat them by 6, I think.
Okay. Yeah, so I know. Yeah, and I know NR's had some trouble roster issues. Roster's always tough. We talked about this a little bit before the call. Is it's tough to when you have it's not like a pro sport team and it's people's job. It's tough to keep the same roster through 11 weeks for sure. But yeah, you never know who could surprise you, and it is such a thing where. Each week, you saw this week, we dip failed this week. Usually we don't do that. So if our 10v10 hadn't stepped up, you guys, if you guys hadn't had troubles on 11v10 either, you could have easily just snuck in there and gotten the win. And it just would have kind of, quote unquote, come out of nowhere. So you never know when that's going to happen because like you have to bring your A game every weekend. And again, it's not people's main priority. So sometimes you have opt-outs that you don't know about ahead of time, or there's lots of factors. So I try and stay on everyone. My thing is the Snipspiration every week. I try to inspire the troops before battle. I write my little Braveheart speeches for the team, and I just try and remind everyone that we do have the target on our back, like I think Jake and them had said. Mm-hmm. And so to keep that in mind when you're playing people and you're the number one undefeated, whatever, everyone kind of wants to beat you more. So you have to never let up. So I try to rally the troops every week. So if we do lose, you can blame it on my inspiration for that week.
I actually had a couple things as well. So we already talked about modding a little bit, but I guess it's made very apparent that this is going to be a problem, consistent problem coming up down the road. I mean, there's so many clans felt it. You guys felt it firsthand with Garsk. So part of my question was, how did that hit you? I've never really heard exactly, Garsk was around for a long time. Like, I can only imagine if someone in my clan that I had known for a long time that came out, like how I would feel. It's happened. Like, I've had guys in the clan, we've had members in the past. And how did that make you feel? And moving forward, how does War Whales prevent that from happening again?
I mean, well, we touched on this. I don't know. I think we were recording, or was this before the show? But either way, I still feel it's the same thing. There's only so much you can do. I mean, besides literally watching attacks and saying like, okay, this attack was just way too good. We need to really watch this guy. If his attacks keep on being too good, there's not much you can do besides, we obviously let everyone know that we don't support that. But other than that, behind closed doors, what people do, there's really no way you can monitor. So all we can do is why we didn't catch a clan-wide ban for the Garsky thing. Rest in peace, Garsky. Yeah, it definitely sucked. I mean, having someone, especially, Garsky was in our close group that from way back when we transferred from OneHive over to War Whales. He was one of the OG guys that I became close with in OneHive when I first got into the whole scene. So it definitely sucked, and it sucks that most of those guys have kind of moved on to more casual play and aren't in War Whales anymore. So it sucks to lose the people and find out that they were playing the game a different way. Mm-hmm. But in terms of from your clan, all you can do is like what we did when it happened, because I'm in the leader chat, so I know we were getting the messages and being presented with evidence, and you can just be transparent with the CWL admins, which is all, Jim did. Jim handles all that stuff, puts a lot of time in. So that's why we didn't get any repercussions as a clan, is because we immediately sent them everything we had. We cooperated, and, they saw that it wasn't some collusion and it was an isolated incident. Yeah. So it sucks that that's all you can do. I wish you could monitor. I would obviously prefer to know if we had people in the clan that were modding. I'd prefer them to be gone than to get the advantage, but there's really nothing you can do.
It sucks because it always leaves that a little bit of doubt sometimes, and even in your own clan members especially, that any of these guys that you've clashed with for so long that become essentially your other family, all of a sudden that could happen. I mean, it's just devastating. Like I met Garsk. I was on the war panel at Chicago Live with him. So it's just strange that you can just see and especially for coming from someone who doesn't mod, you just don't understand how you could go down that path. And so that sucks. But what do you feel? In a perfect world, what do you feel would need to happen to make sure? I know we can make things up, but what do you think that Supercell could do for the CWL or the war community to help us? Like, I don't even see how they could give us a tool even to check, or I don't know. Like, it's such a difficult question. How do they fix it?
No, if you look at if we want to go back to sports analogies, if you look at NFL. They have like drug testing and stuff for like steroids or whatever it would be. You could equate modding to that, like gaining an unfair advantage that way. Mm-hmm. And so if they gave you a way to, to scan IP address, it'd have to be something super technical like that. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Which they're doing. They're more of the scans, I guess, that they do. I don't know what the. I'm not super tech savvy enough to know what the octopus is or how it works, how expensive it is, what the resources are, if it's something that's easy that they could just be doing every week and it wouldn't be a problem. I have no idea. But if it's something that's not too complicated and they can just run a scan every single week, obviously that would even if you're not catching everyone, you're just
It's-
making it more dangerous, so
It's
people
sort
won't
of
do
along
it.
the lines of what I was thinking. Like, imagine if the CWL had a registration, and that registration was submitted to Supercell, so that they at least knew the accounts that they needed to watch for, kind of thing. So they're not, because there's obviously millions of accounts out there. But at least if they narrowed the list down to just the CWL, there's no reason they can't get on board. I don't think. I don't.
I mean, I think they already, because they have the clans already. Isn't that how they did Golden Goblins? Isn't that how Golden Goblins got caught? They monitor their...
I wasn't aware that it was like a narrowed down list. I thought that was just a random everybody.
I'm pretty sure, and I'm not positive, but I'm pretty sure the first wave of bans that came out, and obviously Golden Goblins got banned right before the season started because they were in invite. It was pretty, if you looked at the people that got that ban wave, it was pretty much just only Golden Goblins players, even though they had just recently moved on from Golden Goblins to other clans. Those players still ended up getting the ban. So I'm pretty sure they do have the ability to narrow down their search. But yeah, if they could do more scans, I think that would obviously help. But I think Jake said it too. I think it is not nearly as rampant as it used to be. So
it's not, but it's clearly still there, and that's especially with moving forward with how we want to see everyone wants the CWL to be there. There should just be no worries. You should just be able to be in that league and not have to worry about that kind of shit, right? Like,
Agree.
yeah, I mean, ideal world, but even if you look at football, right? Pro football is a billion-dollar industry, and you still get cheating
still
there.
Deflategate.
There's never.
Spygate.
It's obviously ideal world, and we want to do all that we can to stop it. But you're never, if there's a billion-dollar nationally televised industry that is still having issues, like, it's just human nature that people are gonna take advantage and whatnot. So, I think it's obviously headed in the right direction. I think
it is, but I mean, if you look at a lot of the esports, it's very well regulated. You look at big games, like big name games that get huge prize pools, things like League of Legends and Dota and StarCraft and all that shit. Like, it's very well regulated, and I think if eventually once Supercell realizes that if they could still ride the interest wave into something like that, I don't know, they might jump on board, but it's hard to say, obviously.
Yeah, I think it's heading in the right direction, though, and I think those small tournaments, too. I mean, obviously it doesn't apply to CWL, but that's one of the nicer things about the small tournaments when you have those little quick wars, is that modding doesn't even really help you. So you kind of have to, or not you kind of have to, but it kind of makes you feel better if you know that the war is 1 hour, that there's not time to, like, crack a base. So it's more just kind of free from worry, I guess.
Yeah, absolutely.
Uh-huh.
Okay, well, I think we'll wrap it up. We've been going on, I think, over an hour now. So, Snip, thank you very much for coming out, my man.
Yeah, thanks for having me, guys.
And obviously, you can catch Snip at his awesome YouTube channel, Snip Attacks. Just YouTube, probably. Snip Attacks, but go ahead, man.
Which will soon be featuring a duel with JP.
It's happening. Let's do this.
What's the comp going to be? You gotta call out the comp then. If we're gonna if it's Town Hall 9, what comp are you gonna challenge me with?
Right here and now.
All right, we'll do a Queen Walk Lalo. Nothing special.
Queen Walk Laloon, okay.
Yeah, Queen Walk Lalo. We got to determine spells, or is that going to be? I guess we got to come up with spell.
As the challenger, you can do that. Prophet, the last one I did, I usually do 13 baby drags with the masked baby dragon. He said, no, we're gonna do 12 and 6 loons. So I complied. I accept challenges, so we can do whatever you want.
Yep, we'll do this. Queen Walk Lala. We'll get down to the nitty gritty when time gets closer.
All right, done deal.
All right, awesome. Well, until episode 5 should be up in the next couple, until episode 6, we're going to get out of here, guys. But until next time, appreciate it. 2 bees, 1 hive. Catch you later, gentlemen.
See ya.
Appreciate it.
Peace.